Are there natural causes of earthquakes and volcanoes? Today, we know that the science of geology studies phenomena like these and principles such as the movement of tectonic plates and the release of magma from deep inside the earth. These are natural processes which are studied in the science of geology. But this science did not exist in the ancient world. And when many individuals asked the questions of the causes, they turned to biblical passages, and the only passages they found involved supernatural causes. So earthquakes or volcanoes occurred because of God's displeasure at a group of people or because of a specific event or to show the might of God. It was always a supernatural event and not a natural one. The Puritan thinker in the Americas, Cotton Mather, attributed earthquakes and volcanoes to divine anger and shows of divine power, which were meant to teach a theological lesson. Other explanations of earthquakes varied from the tail strikes of the Leviathan animal mentioned in the Bible to divine warnings of plague. Tertullian from the 3rd century argued that the lava of volcanoes was not a common fire explained by natural causes, but rather a mysterious fire which was eternal and evidence that God's punishment would be ever renewing. Many reasoned that volcanoes were physical gateways to hell, which lay under the earth, and some used this passage in Numbers 16 to show that hell was located under the earth. Cardinal Bellarmine obviously took this literally. He was the inquisitor at Galileo's trial, and he argued that hell lay under the earth. When some asked the question why a disaster had occurred, such as an earthquake or a volcano, some felt that they could point out who God felt displeasure towards, who was to blame for this natural disaster. And in the Middle Ages and after, some blamed earthquakes and volcanoes on political opponents or those whose sexual practices they disapproved of. Even in our modern world, when disasters occur, there are still individuals which then appoint themselves to say that this event occurred because of divine displeasure at individuals whose political views they disagree with or whose sexual practices they disapprove of.